Lightweight gaming mice have been improving since last year, and we've seen many new manufacturers make their own gaming mice. It seems to me that while a lot of people are buying into the trend of mice looking like cheese graters, I just can't help but think many overlook mice with no holes in them. Well, today I'll be giving you my personal review on the Endgame Gear XM1, and while yes, this mouse came out last year, I really feel like it's a mouse that doesn't get talked about much or people just seem to overlook in general. A couple of things to point out here is yes, I did paracord the mouse, and yes, I did put new Virgin PTFE skates. I'll explain why later in the video. Like, share, and subscribe if you guys want to see more content like this and want to support the channel. With that being said, let's begin. The Endgame Gear XM1 is an ambidextrous mouse intended for right-handed users. Its measurements are 122mm in length, 38mm at its highest point, and 62mm in width. I'll put this mouse in the medium-sized category. I'll leave my hand measurements in the description if you're curious and to give you a better idea in terms of size. The mouse weighs 70 grams, which in my opinion is just right when it comes to quality control, as mice with lower weight tend to develop creaking or other quality issues over time. Now the model I have here is the first model of the XM1. Those who got the first gen XM1 know that it came with a rubber cord instead of the flexible cable that the new models come with. Also, the newer models come with slightly thicker mouse skates than the first models. Yeah, the older model was not the best for the value. It had a stiff rubber cord and thin mouse feet. That really held the mouse back, so you can see why I replaced the cord and feet on mine shortly after picking up the XM1. That being said, Endgame Gear has already addressed the mouse feet and cord issues by including thicker feet and a paracord style cable included with the revised version of the XM1. Now that we covered the improvements of the mouse, let's talk about its shape. The XM1 is definitely a claw player's dream. The mouse has a good height towards the back of the mouse, and in the front it tends to really dip down. This is what causes my hand to naturally grip the mouse and claw grip. The shape is very comfortable and has not bothered me at all. The XM1 uses arm-around switches which are clicky and crisp and are rated for 50 million clicks. Here's a quick sound test. They offer a quick 1 millisecond response time, and when combined with the low pre-travel, it makes this mouse feel super responsive. Mouse 1 and 2 have very little mouse wobble, which is great because I know many people hate wobbly mouse buttons. On the top, we can also see the scroll wheel, which feels okay and hasn't given me any problems, so there's that. On the side, we have the side buttons, which sound light and crisp. One little thing I noticed is that the back side button tends to have some decent pulse travel. Besides that, all is good. Speaking of the sides, there's absolutely no side flicks, which is always great to see. I really hate weak bodies on mice, simply because if the body's too weak, I tend to accidentally squeeze the sides too hard, causing the side buttons to actuate. With the XM1, that issue is not present. Moving on to the bottom of the mouse, the XM1 uses a Pixart PMW3389 sensor, which is a fantastic sensor. You will have no problems with lift-off distance or spin-outs, so no need to worry about it crapping out on you. Also on the bottom, we can see the DPI button, which has an LED indicator to show you which DPI setting you are on, a feature that I think many manufacturers overlook and is something that I really like. Also located on the bottom are the feet. These in particular are core pads and are not the stock mouse feet that it comes with. The stock feet on the old version of the XM1 were thin and really not the best. I can't speak for the new version of the XM1's feet for reasons previously mentioned in the video, but I can speak for the core pads. The core pads are some of the thickest mouse feet I have ever used. They offer a smooth glide experience and are 0.8mm thick, which is great if you use something like Glorious Helio's hard pad, which eats mouse feet for days. As for the cord, well, it's not so nice. The cord was horrible, so I just had to replace it. The cord I currently have on my XM1 is one made by Perfect Cables. I got my cable in black and red, which looks and performs nicely. No more annoying cable slapping around my desk everywhere. Lastly, let's quickly go over the software. The software is okay. You can change the DPI sensitivity and disable buttons with the software. It does lack features like messing with liftoff distance and changing the keybinds on your mouse, but I hardly mess with that stuff anyway. Now, the thing I wanted to point out was the XM1 we have had an issue where every time I would pick my mouse up to reset my hand position, the mouse would trigger and act like I was hitting my mouse one button. So I went on to Reddit to see if anyone else had this issue. I found a Reddit page that talks on how to fix this problem, and long story short, you'll have to update the XM1's firmware. That should solve the issue if you have this exact same problem. I'll leave a link to the Reddit page in the description if anyone's interested. My experience with the XM1 has been great. What I and most people like about the XM1 is its shape, and honestly, it deserves all the praise it gets. As a claw player, using the XM1 was the easiest transition to a mouse I have ever used. Holding the XM1 just felt natural, and I really love and appreciate how it encourages you to use it in claw grip. The way the XM1 is shaped almost forces you to use it in claw grip, which is great for me. While using the XM1, I got the highest damage I have done in Apex Legends, which just shows me how good of a performer this mouse has been. If you are a claw player and you're trying to find your next main, look no further, Endgame Gear has got you covered. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more content like this. This is Carlos from Unplugged, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.